As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey folks, Garrett Fisher here. I need to tell you about this absolutely mind-blowing podcast, Acting President, that's been keeping me up at night. It's about James Bennett, a former governor starring in a hit Sunday night TV show about overthrowing the government, and then his actual former chief of staff approaches him to do it for real. The line between fiction and reality completely disappears when these course correction rallies start popping up everywhere. Is it brilliant marketing or something more sinister? The parallels are insane. Trust me, this is the political thriller you didn't know you needed in your life. Acting President, available now wherever you find podcasts.
Caloroga Shark Media.
A huge dinosaur footprint has turned up on the beach in the UK. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Joe was walking down the beach looking for fossils of dinosaur bones. He said, I've been walking for an hour or two and hadn't found anything, so I was a bit down in the dumps. But then I looked down and could see one of the toes in the clay. Thinking it could be a footprint, I uncovered it and discovered a pretty big footprint of an Iguanodon. I've never heard of Iguanodon. What a cool sounding name. It's high up in the sequence, which means it's a bit younger than the other footprints on the island. It belonged to a really big animal. You see, iguanodons were large herbivores measuring up to 10 meters long and weighing over 4 tons. Joe tells us iguanodons are pretty cool and were quite common, but to see a footprint so well preserved in this area is great. Joe is a guide for White Coast fossils and explains the Isle of Wight is one of the best places in Europe for finding dinosaur remains and footprints, apparently. A free children's bookstore has opened in Maryland to provide diverse reading options and improve literacy rates. Nice job by Our Kids Read. They opened a free children's bookstore in a Baltimore area mall. The goal to promote proficient literacy among underserved children. They offer thousands of donated books supported by the Baltimore and Princeton communities, Scholastic and others, with a focus on literature that showcases various cultures and backgrounds. The executive director wants to instill a love and appreciation for reading in children, just like he had. Here's some hope for the future. Stanford University chemists say they've developed a practical, low-cost way to permanently remove atmospheric carbon dioxide. That's the main driver of global climate change. Matthew Kanan, Stanford professor of chemistry, explains the Earth has an inexhaustible supply of minerals that are capable of removing CO2 from the atmosphere, but they just don't react fast enough on their own to counteract human greenhouse gas emissions. Our work solves this problem in a way that we think is uniquely scalable. In nature, common minerals called silicates react with water and atmospheric CO2 to form stable bicarbonate ions and solid carbonate minerals, a process known as weathering. Stanford postdoctoral scholar Yuxin Chen developed a new process for converting slow-weathering silicates into much more reactive minerals that capture and store atmospheric carbon quickly. A lot of science here in the rest of the article, but hopefully they can figure that out. Meanwhile, tiny frogs are evading extinction with human help. Conservationists are working with the tiny Darwin's frog. They're celebrating the birth of 33 froglets at the London Zoo. Darwin frogs' monitored populations dropped by 90% within a year of a deadly fungus infecting the forest where they live in 2023. More than 50 of the tiny frogs were brought to London, and the hope is that one day they can return to the wild once the fungus is contained. White smoke. The path to a new pope explores humanity's most elaborate and secretive transfer of power, a process now unfolding following the death of Pope Francis. This series reveals the hidden rituals, ancient traditions, and behind-the-scenes drama of papal transition. As the Catholic world enters this solemn period of mourning and anticipation, join us in witnessing how the Church has perfected this sacred process over 2,000 years, and what happens in these crucial days when the throne of St. Peter stands empty. White Smoke brings listeners inside the conclave that will determine who will succeed Pope Francis and lead the Church into its next chapter. White Smoke, wherever you get your podcasts.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says uninterrupted listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to caloroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 good news stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the uninterrupted listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to caloroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
Baby name experts claim they know which names are going to surge in popularity over the next 10 years. Sophie Kim is a baby name expert and has shared the baby names that are going to rise the fastest over the next 10 years. Are you ready for these names? Here are the fastest rising girl names between now and 2035. They are Aurelie, Arden, Una, Soraya, Fia, Vida, Zaya, Poetry, Loveland, Lenny, L-E-N-I, Isadora, Viola, Adara, Elowen, Ria, Noelle, Iceland, I-C-E-L-Y-N-N, Malone, Ripley, and Gianni. The fastest rising boy names are expected to be Ozias, Alakai, Chosen, C-H-O-Z-Y-N, Asai, Tiago, Towns, Woods, Sire, Casper, Everin, Zephyr, Kit, Lath, Booker, Ren, Cosmo, Reyes, Howard, Calum, and Lenny, L-E-N-N-Y. Those are the rising ones. The most popular ones in 2035 will be Charlotte, Violet, Olivia, Amelia, Luna, Eleanor, Sophia, Camilla, Aurora, Hazel, on the boys' side, Oliver, Theodore, Mateo, Ezra, James, Jack, Henry, Liam, and Levi. I'm John, and that's your 5 good news stories for today. You have an awesome day.